Hello and welcome. My name is Jennifer Regular, and Tara Beth Villani is joining me today on Awaken and Ascend with her message to truly know yourself and reconnect to your soul's inner wisdom. Tara shares the vision that everyone is living their highest potential and is on a mission to raise the vibration of the planet one soul at a time. If you'd like a free guide to living your passion and purpose, then you'll find the link to download it in the show notes below. So Tara began her journey as a licensed massage therapist in New York, trained in Eastern and Western modalities. She also obtained licensure in New Jersey as a chiropractic assistant. With a growing curiosity about the human energetic system, Tara furthered her education and became certified in bioenergetic testing and healing touch. And then through years of study and online programs and personal experience, she implemented astrology into her soul signature. Now, with a broad knowledge base of mind, body, spirit interrelationship, Tara provides a holistic approach to healing while activating the client's energetic blueprint. Today, we are delving into astrology and spirituality and how astrology is a tool for self-empowerment and growth. Welcome, Tara. This sounds like it's going to be so much fun. I'm so happy you're here right now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate you so much for having me on and being able to discuss my passion, astrology. I mean, I love all the things, human energetic system and healing. That has been my past, but astrology has really ignited that soul wisdom and that soul healing even further for me.
Yeah, and that's something I'm always interested in hearing about, Tara, is what lit your path? Like, how did you obviously you went through different types of education and self-study and online and all of that and the different topics, but what lit you on the path of that journey? Like, what really shined light on what it was that you were meant to do?
So actually, during my certification as a healing touch practitioner, part of our assignment was to experience alternative modalities. And they had a list of all different types of things. And shamanism was on the list. And I was like, oh, okay, I've never tried that before. That'll be interesting. That'll be fun. And so I found this wonderful local shaman. And my first appointment with her, she actually introduced me to my birth chart because I had never, ever before even explored or gone down that road. So she did a brief reading for me with my birth chart prior to doing a past life regression. And so I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's really interesting. I never looked at myself in that way because when you don't know something, and then you find out, then it's like, oh, there's a whole new road to go down, right? So yeah, and after looking at that, I would go back and forth and look at it and try to understand it. And I ordered some books to understand it even more, your basic astrology books to delve into the planets, the signs, all of that information. And it just grew and grew and grew. And then I finally booked another astrology reading with an astrologer online. And that just opened everything up even further. So yeah, through the astrology readings, it piqued my curiosity and led me down this path of, it's really a rabbit hole, honestly. I mean, most people look at astrology as predicting things and, oh, well, when is this going to happen in my life? When is that going to happen? Which, yes, astrology does do those things. And it is a great tool to use to look at different milestones in your life, but it's also part of your energetic blueprint. And that's what I found so fascinating. And that's ultimately what brought me deeper into my healing journey and really exploring parts of myself that I didn't pay attention to or didn't know on a conscious level, but that were buried deep in the subconscious.
That's very interesting. And you're right, it is a rabbit hole. Once we've gotten interested in something and then we just want more and more and more of that. And right now, just hearing your story, I want more and more of that and what you discovered. And I'm curious how this meets in with spirituality. And if you even used it in your massage work at the time, or how that shifted from you from being a massage therapist into getting more about what you're doing now. I'm interested in how that turned around for you. And you mentioned about the subconscious and shamanism, and of course, they're all aspects of spirituality as well. So I'm interested in how all of this fits together. Like, how does this become an integrated model for living for you?
So great question. So I was a massage therapist when I was in my 20s, and that was prior to being married and having children. Then, after having children, I really didn't practice massage, and I was a therapist in New York, and in the meantime, moved to New Jersey, and then I never reinstated my license. However, when my children got older, and I started awakening and being curious, what happened was a friend of mine, her sister-in-law was a healing touch practitioner. And so I was like, oh, I'd love to try it and experience it because I never had. I've always had massage. I grew up, my mom's really good friend was an acupuncturist, and I had acupuncture a lot as a child and even growing up in my teenage years. So I was always familiar with the energetic system through the meridians. So it was just really interesting. I never had this type of healing touch therapy, which is similar to Reiki, just different techniques are used. So it's all that energy balancing, healing work. And so it was like I had such a great experience from healing touch. I was like, oh, I have to learn this. I have to know how to do this. This is my heart was saying yes, yes, yes. So I decided to go, there's many levels of training in this. And in order to become certified, it's like a 2.5 year process. So the more I got deeper into the training and being more conscious of my energetic body, not just my physical body, then that is what in turn made me so attracted to astrology, because that's part of your energetic blueprint, not just like your physical system. And so it's interesting how certain planets are in relationship to the different chakras in the body. So like Mars is related to the root chakra, and Venus can be related to the heart, the sacral's the moon, solar plexus, the sun. So it's just really interesting awakening. It's like another dimension of the aspect of that chakra. So it's just really, really interconnected in that way. And when you start to make those connections, it's like you have those aha moments, right? So, but it also helped me to really delve into my personal wounding and scarring and going down that what's called the dark night of the soul, which I've had many. And so really, that's what astrology did more of. And through going through that process, I was also able to heal physically, emotionally, mentally. So all those different layers in our aura.
Yeah.
I was able to heal myself through understanding my wounding, understanding my subconscious patterning,
Mm.
and being able to shift my perspective and shift relationships with those that I loved. I mean, every single aspect you could possibly think of completely shifted for me.
Wow. Wow. So I can see how that would have been a whole, literally life-changing experience. And I love astrology. Like, I mean, I find it so fascinating. I also find it really complex. And you're right, a lot of people use it or want to know about it for like predictions, for example. And then you have the natal chart, and then there's all different kinds of other charts and different astrology philosophies, astrological philosophies, I guess, too, right? Like evolutionary astrology, for example, galactic astrology, and soul centered astrology, esoteric astrology, and all of the different things you can put in front of astrology. So it's really, like you say, an intricate, complicated, fascinating study. And it can really hone us in on reality too, on our life, and really point us in the right direction, help us understand ourselves in a different way and bring some new awareness, which of course would shift things for us in the way that we perceive the world and how we are in it. And so, how do we use astrology then as a tool for spiritual and personal growth, and even in our daily lives? How can we work that in?
Sure. Wow. So for me, it really was based on looking at my birth chart and getting into a meditative state and really tapping in and looking at what I need to know now. And the more you do that type of an exercise, it opens up different avenues. And so, but again, like you said, your natal chart, there's many different types of astrology, and you have your natal chart, which is your imprint or like a picture of the stars in the sky the minute you were born, the minute you took your first breath, right? So that's like your blueprint. And it's like as you grow and move and live life, you build upon that. And so then you have something called your progress chart. So that's something that you look at in on a longer period of time, building off of the foundation of that energetic blueprint from the date of your birth, date and time and city of your birth. But I just found that I just got to understand and look and see different things about myself just illuminated over time. And that's what I want people to understand. It's not something like, one and done. It's like, oh, I know myself. It's amazing how, as time goes on and then the different transits that happen, it's like, oh, there's something else I didn't realize about my moon. Or, oh, there's something else I didn't realize about my sun. And oh, there's always another facet. And it's just amazing to see its unfoldment. It's like when you're reading a book, this is your soul story, right? You can look at it that way too. It's like, that was chapter 1 is your birth chart, and every chapter is your progress chart since, right? And it's a beautiful unfoldment of your life's path. And you're able to, the more you know about yourself, you're able to feel more empowered in the choices that you're making. Where before, if you didn't realize, you're running on autopilot, and I was guilty of that myself. You're just on autopilot. You're doing the things like how you were raised. You're most likely doing the things that your parents were doing, your sister, your brother, family members, whomever. rather than really sinking deep in and saying, okay, but where do I want to go, and where do I want to go now? What is calling to me now? And I find that that's just so important right now, that we really honor what our soul is telling us, because that's your soul signature, is your birth chart, and your progression is over time how you're learning more and more and more.
Wow. Wow. And that can be very helpful in even the decisions that we need to make for our life, or help with deeper understanding and bring about that awareness, as you say. So there's so much more that we progress with, right? That's part of our evolution or part of our growth. Something that I heard for the first time that you had mentioned was about how the planets also connect with our different chakras, how the chakra system, Venus in the heart and Mars in the root, and so on. And I find that really interesting. Can you talk a little bit more about that too?
Sure. So your root chakra, that's your stability, that's your primal instinct.
Hmm.
And Mars is associated with our primal instincts. It's how we go after something, it's the actions that we take. Now, in a lower expression, it's, the fears that we have, right? So it's that fight or flight instinct,
Hmm.
fight or flight or freeze.
Mhm.
So, but in order to feel more comfortable and more stable in the actions that we take, that root chakra has to be really strong and rooted in the earth and rooted in ourself.
Hmm.
And in order to take the proper actions and to be able to feel safe, to follow our instincts, right?
Hmm.
Mars is also our instinctual nature. So feeling safe, it's that point of safety, feeling safe in order to just go for it. And then our sacral chakra related to our moon. Our moon is our emotional world. It's the seat of our creativity. The sacral chakra, that's our creative emotional center, and what can we create on emotional level. And how everybody does this and feels this is completely different, because it depends on what sign your moon is in, what sign your Mars is in, what house it's in, aspects. But it's about really feeling comfortable and using the emotions, being able to express in a healthy manner and not holding it in, and because that shuts down that creative center. And our sacral or excuse me, our solar plexus, that's our power center. So, and the color of it is yellow. So think of the sun, right? It's the brightest luminary in our sky, and it's shining and it's powerful, it's warm. And so that's where we're emitting our brilliance. So our sun is emitting our brilliance, in this lifetime, wherever you have your sun sign and whatever house it's in. And then your heart, that's Venus. Venus is the planet of love, and giving and receiving love. How open or closed are we to giving and receiving love? And of course, again, whatever sign and house that Venus is in depends on how you express and how you feel loved. So, and then our throat is Mercury, how we express ourselves, how we communicate, right? Mercury can also be associated with our mind, right? Too, how we think, how we take in information, and how we express that. Now, there's another chakra that's in between our heart and our throat called the high heart. And so that's that combination of the throat and the heart chakra, and how we speak from a place of love, a place of compassion, a place of kindness. So it's like you can meld your Mercury and your Venus together and see the highest expressions of those. And that would be a great way to put forth that high heart energy.
Wow.
And we have our third eye. That you could say is our expansion too. I look at it a couple ways. Like you could look at it as Jupiter, the planet of expansion, but also being able to see, that's not physical. It's also our imagination, our intuition. So it's like, I look at it a couple of ways. Like it could be connected to Neptune in our charts, the planet of spirit. But I also see Neptune as connected to our crown, where we're receiving that divine information. But I also look at Uranus that way too. It's interesting. And I look at Uranus that really rules the spine and our nerves too,
Oh.
because Uranus is that electrical impulse that it can seem like erratic, but it's really quick and fast. And it's the cosmic mind as opposed to the human mind, which is Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like those are what open and can correlate with those chakras and being able to expand and awaken all those things within us.
That is awesome. I have not heard that so well explained before, and it's really amazing, and it landed so strongly for me. Wow, thank you for sharing that. And I know you obviously carry so much knowledge, Tara, about astrology and life and how it all intersects and bringing that spirituality into it too. We both have a shared vision that everyone is living on purpose in their full potential, being led by soul and living out their soul's mission. So, how do you bring all of this together in your work with the people that you serve? How do you bring them into alignment with their soul's mission and their soul signature?
So I love to look at their birth chart and really give them the information that perhaps they didn't realize, and that would activate something within them to live their higher purpose, to be on that path and understand their uniqueness and their significant piece that they're meant to bring to the world in this lifetime. Because we live in a world that's very cookie cutter, right? It's like, what's normal? And I really want to get away from that word.
Mm-hmm.
What word I prefer is natural.
Mm,
How are you in your natural state?
yes.
And I feel that your birth chart explains that implicitly. This is you in your natural state. There's nothing wrong. There's it's not a matter of fitting in and belonging. It's understanding that I am powerful and this is the energy that I bring to the table, and for others to see that and be accepting of that. But it's about also accepting it yourself and understanding it yourself. And I just love guiding people on that journey because I've been through it myself. And you're like, okay, well, what does this mean? What does this even mean? And so I just love being that support for people and guiding them on a path of self-discovery.
Yeah.
And really, how one person expresses their Mars in Cancer can be different from how someone else expresses their Mars in Cancer. And it's understanding that there are similarities, but there are nuances too, and that every person holds a different piece of that. It's almost like a puzzle, and the big or tapestry of life, or like that weaving of your story into it, and your expression and your experience of what that means to you. So it's also very personal. So that's what I want to make clear as well, is that while, yes, there's some general themes to every planet and every astrological sign, how it's expressed depends on the soul. And so that's why I feel like astrology is always expanding. It's not only expanding you as an individual, but it's expanding our knowledge of astrology as well.
Incredible. Incredible. And so I'm sure there's a way to connect with you then. If people want to work with you, explore, find out more, how would they do that?
Sure. They can go to my website at solsticemoon.com. That's spelled SOULSTICE, moon. And yes, I had to put soul in there because we're all on a soulful experience. So yeah, they could reach me there. They could follow me on Instagram at Solstice Moon Astro. I'm also on there. And if you'd like, I write a monthly lunar newsletter about the energies of the full moon. I also host a new moon workshop that's also for free every month. And I also co-created a communications workshop that is going to be coming up on December 14th. So have that as well, and that's free as for everyone too. If they'd like to join, they can find information on my website about that too.
Wow, that's so fantastic. Thank you, Tara. And of course, everyone, you'll find that link to connect with Tara in the show notes below. Also to connect with me at lightingthepath.ca. And don't forget your free guide to living with passion and purpose, and lots of things to explore. So just check the show notes down there and you'll see what's available for you. And Tara, I wonder if there's anything else you'd like to share with the audience today.
Just thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me here and allowing me to express my passion. And I hope that people decide to go on this journey, because I want them to know that they're absolutely worth it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to each and every one of you who've been listening and watching on Awaken and Ascend. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We'll see you again next week. Bye for now.